Hey, Brian here, Triathlon.com, and we're talking more Ironman 70.3 and Ironman Waco. We are talking about this is October 18th of 2021, so the races are in about a week away, and this is the first time they've done a full in Waco, and um, extenuating circumstances, being a pandemic and all, in 2020 wiped everything out. So Ironman is offering more opportunities to race. They've done in Indiana and a few other race locations to create more full Ironman opportunities. So they did in Indiana. They're going to do it with Waco. So they're having a full on Saturday and a half on Sunday, starting at noon for the 70.3, which changes things a little bit. Usually we're used to getting up early in the morning, getting in the water when it's kind of chilly, and being on the bike course, and then it starts warming up, and then we're out in the heat of the day of the run. So I think we're going to be a little reversed. Heat of the day, we're going to be starting to swim, being on the bike, and hopefully it starts getting cooler when you're on the run. So we'll see how that goes. But I want to talk about kind of historical weather information for these races. And I always like to start off with Ironman's website because it's always interesting to see what they say. So if you look at 7.3 Waco's site, average air temperature 65 degrees Fahrenheit. And you look at Ironman full, and they're the same 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So I always like to take that with a grain of salt because I like to go to timeanddate.com and look at historical information. Specifically, I'm just looking at the forecast. Let's look at this is 14-day weather. Let's look at climate and weather averages for Waco. So if you look in October, the average air temperature could be from 57 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit. So 81 degrees. So that's still, when you're getting up north, especially in October, that's still pretty warm. So if you're coming from a northern climate or a climate where it's getting a little bit cooler before race day, it could be an interesting opportunity to test out your heat acclimation as the weather temperatures decrease. So I'm just putting that out there because we want to make sure that you're ready. For most of us, beginning October, usually the weather's getting a little bit cooler. But if you're going south for your racing, you could be in a race situation where that temperature is getting up there pretty high. And if you kind of deacclimated to heat, you just need to be careful of that. So it may be an opportunity while you're training up, getting ready for race day. Maybe too late at this point in time, a week out from the race. But as you're doing your training, put some heaters in the basement, keep it warm down there, keep that sweat content going. Just make sure that you're up in the heat to make sure that you're still acclimated. I do like to look at winds, 8 miles per hour, visibility 10 miles, low temperature 57, hottest month, coldest month, wettest month, windiest month, annual precipitation. So if you look at the rain, so it does kind of go up in October as far as how much rain they get down there in Waco. So it could be an opportunity for a little bit of rain. So I always like to kind of look at that. And I look at past, so like October 24th of 2020. If you did the race last year at this time, let's see, a high of 62 degrees. So that's actually stayed true. If they had the race in 2020, look at the day before the 23rd. They actually had some thunderstorms, so it might have been an interesting race day on that day and some rain. But high of 66. It was actually warmer in the morning and cool off as the day went on. By 3 p.m. it was 53 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was kind of chilly that day. So 2020 is a little bit cooler. Look at 2019. Let's see, let's do the 23rd. So if you're looking at both, like I said, I'm kind of talking about 7.3 and the full Waco that weekend. So if you're looking around that time frame, back in 2019, it was 84 degrees Fahrenheit, pleasantly warm. Depends on what you're doing, what you consider pleasantly warm. If you're doing a full Ironman, that might not be pleasant. But if you look at the day after, a high of, let's see, 80 degrees, and then drop 62. Crazy. So 80 degrees, they had some rain, some overcast skies, so that might have been a little bit more comfortable to do a race in, some overcast skies. Visibility, humidity, pretty high humidity, 90%, when they got some rain. The winds weren't super crazy. It did get to 18 miles an hour. Check the wind, 22 miles per hour at 10 a.m. So looks like some thunderstorms rolled in and caused some problems. So just be aware of that. It's looking like, rain, precipitation may be an issue. So that's what I like to do is like to look at the past weather information, just kind of get an idea to see if Ironman's prediction of 75 degrees is pretty accurate. 2020 it was, 2019 was a little bit warmer. So I would tend to kind of make sure that I'm paying attention to the higher side of things and make sure you're prepared for heat because it could be warm. Because if you're looking for 2021, the forecast, like I said, the full's on the 23rd. Increasing clouds, high of 87 degrees on timeanddate.com. Partly cloudy. Winds 10 to 11 miles an hour, 51% humidity, so a little bit humid. Um, so a UV index of 5, which is moderate. And then Sunday, isolated thunderstorms late, clearing skies. So just be careful. Sunday, we could have a chance for some precipitation, maybe some weather delays if there's lightning involved. Winds are up a little bit higher for you half Ironman people. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. So that's timeanddate.com. And I like to go to weather.com. I know this is a lot, but I just like to make sure that all the bases are covered. You make sure you prepare for any contingencies. You look at weather.com. It's looking at sunny, 85 degrees, 12% chance for precipitation, 12-mile-per-hour wind, so not horrible, but warm. Sunday, partly cloudy, 85 degrees. The percentage for precipitation goes up a little bit. The wind speed goes up a little bit. So I say all that to make sure that we're prepared for heat, prepared for humidity, prepared for some precipitation, prepared for a little bit of wind. So hopefully you're comfortable in aero. Hopefully you're comfortable if you've got deep dish wheels on the front, getting a little bit of crosswind. So when you're riding your bike, you're comfortable controlling your bike. Now, would I recommend like disc wheels or something like that? Like I said, if you're comfortable, I think it could be a good opportunity because you watch the bike video. You're going all sorts of different directions. So you're going to have opportunities to be headwind, tailwind, crosswinds, left or right. You're going to have it all. So personally for me, if I was running, like I run 808s on the front and the back, and I would run them both and go that way, and I'd be perfectly fine doing that with these conditions predicted. So that'd be my recommendation. But sunscreen early and often. Hydration is going to be a big key. And when you're out there on the run, to make sure that you have adequate heat protection or sun protection, and then adequate planning for being out in the heat during the race. You have a cooling strategy as you're doing that run, because I think it's really going to pay off to have a good strategy to get to the end. For the half, it's going to be a little bit different as you're doing the run. Hopefully, you're getting the cool part of the day, but still, I think you're going to be out there in a little bit of heat. So make sure you have a good cooling strategy. So I think that's going to be the big key. If you watch the bike videos, you watch run videos, kind of look at the weather forecast for 2021. So I think that's going to be a big key. It's looking to be warm this year, and more often than not, it's warm than cool. So I would definitely plan on a warm day. Maybe have a backup plan for a little bit of rain, especially on the bike, if you want to be prepared for that. Um, Hydration, I think, is going to be a big, huge factor on the bike to get prepared, especially if it's 85 degrees out there. Just make sure that you're ready when you're out there on the run. 85 degrees may not seem like extremely hot, but you're out there running, especially if you're doing the full 26.2 miles out there in 85-degree temperatures. That can really, really eat on you as the run goes on. So make sure that you're prepared for that. Sunglasses, a visor on your helmet for the bike, or sunglasses on the bike, sunglasses on the run. I definitely wear a hat. Always wear visors, but I do get the top of my head sunburnt, so maybe like a full hat, maybe like the Boco running hats or the trucker hats like this, if you wear those. Something to keep your head covered so you don't get sunburnt on your head, because that's not fun to deal with when you're running 26.2 miles. Like I said, if you got a good cooling strategy and you're wet often, you can make sure that you've got plenty of lubrication in the sensitive parts in your shoes. So definitely some Aquaphor in the transition bags and maybe special needs areas, special needs bags. Make sure you're prepared for that. But like I said, I mean, there's tons of things that we can go over. I don't see any comments or questions specifically on what different situations or scenarios. If you have any questions on them, always post those questions. If you have them, I'll go back and answer them if I can. But I think the main point is, I just want to make sure that you guys are out there paying attention to the weather. I'd hate for you guys to just pack all your stuff and treat it like any other training day, and you go out there and oh, this is a lot hotter than I thought it would be. You get on the run course and you just out there dying of heat exhaustion. We don't want that. We don't want you to go to a medical tent. We don't want you to DNF because of dehydration. I've done that before. It's not fun. So I want to make sure you're prepared, because it's going to be warm out there. I think when you're out there in the run course, I verified it through 2 different sites. You're looking to be in the 80s. Sunday, you may get some rain. You're going to get a little bit of a stiff breeze, especially on the bike. And I've done the run course, and you're pretty exposed out there for more than half the run. So I think you guys want to be out there, and you want to make sure that you're ready for that heat, ready for the sun. I think that's going to be a big factor. Hydration, and then have a strategy to mitigate all that heat on the run. I think that's going to be the big keys, the big points. So with that, I want to wrap it up. Really, that's the kind of the highlights, and this is more of a strategy. So future races, you can go through timeanddate.com and look at past historical information. I'm always paying attention to weather.com and the weather coming up for the races, just to make sure, especially when you're packing, getting ready to travel for a race, you don't want to not pack the stuff that you need and not paying attention to the weather, and then you get there and all of a sudden you're running around trying to find a sporting goods store for rain stuff, for hot weather stuff, and other things. So make sure that before you head out, you're getting packed up and you're taking all the stuff you need to do your races. So with that, hope you like that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a comment and tell me why. What can I add? What can I do to make it better? If you're seeing this on YouTube, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a subscribe, hit the notification button. I'll be doing future videos on recommendations for spectators and talk about the transition a little bit, talk about the event guide, all kinds of other fun stuff. So make sure that you're ready to get those notifications and you're ready for race day. So good luck with taper out there, and we'll see you guys on race day. Good luck, and see you at the finish line too.